Today we continue our Zero to Hero journey on Epoch, where we uncover all of the added content and the new things to the Classic Plus Azeroth. This time we continue our work in Thousand Needles, visiting updated Mirage Raceway in the Shimmering Flats, as well as getting into very unexpected Scarlet Monastery group that I had to tank. So to start off, we continue our journey through the Thousand Needles as there was still a lot of left to do. I needed to kill Steel Snap, defeat Rock Alim, clear out the pinnacles, and deal with a bunch of stalkers hiding around the area. After that, the plan was to head into the desert part of Thousand Needles, which I've always liked. So I decided to start from the western side and slowly work my way east. Simple plan. On the way, I finally decided to do something smart. Someone in the YouTube comments had suggested making a macro to target Steel Snap, so I made one, slapped it on my F key, and fully committed to spamming the living hell out of it. I had no idea how to mark targets properly, but honestly, if I could just find him, that was good enough. Normally, I've never had trouble finding Steel Snap in the past, but this time he refused to cooperate. He didn't stick to the road, so I followed the western paths instead. That's when things got interesting, as the Rock Alim showed up. He had almost 4000 HP, so at first I thought, okay, this might hurt, but surprisingly he barely hit me for about 80 damage per swing. Compared to previous elites, there was nothing. I relaxed a bit, but it turned out that was a mistake. Mid-fight, more mobs joined in, one of which was a rare monster, and suddenly things went from easy to oh no. I burned cooldowns, panicked, and eventually hit lay on hands like my life depended on it, because it actually did. Unfortunately, I got dazed and Blessing of Freedom doesn't work on such slows, and eventually I was smacked down to death. On my way back though, I noticed that I did manage to loot Rock Alim in the last moment, and apart from quest item, we also received a nice shoulder piece. It wasn't a massive upgrade, just one stamina more, but still, totally worth the heart attack. The only problem was that I had blown everything, especially lay on hands. So now, if Steel Snap turns out to be spicy, I was cooked, but I shrugged it off and moved on, pretending confidence was the same thing as preparation. While moving on, I noticed other players around. People often say this server feels empty, and yeah, it's not crowded, but it's not that either. I kept seeing players while leveling, and we even managed to run some dungeon. The population was around 400 at that point, so slowly growing. Not fast, but steady. That got me thinking about Epoch and Ascension. There were no big announcements, no hype, just quiet updates. Personally, I understood why. After the disaster of the original launch and all the drama, staying low-key made sense. Whether the rumors were true or not didn't really matter anymore. What mattered was that the server was alive, slow but steady. For me, the plan was simple: hit level 60, see how endgame feels, and then decide. Slow progress didn't actually scare me. Honestly, I kinda liked it. And then, finally my macro worked. Steel Snap popped up. I didn't hesitate, I stunned him straight away, dropped a consecration and went full damage mode. Turns out he wasn't scary at all. He melted. No drama, no panic, just a clean kill. I laughed a bit, because after all that preparation, it was easier than expected. With that done, so our next goal were the Crag Stalkers. I wanted to clear that quest now, so I would have to come back later after finishing the pinnacles. Efficiency. Finally, our combat through there continued. Mobs fell, bandages got upgraded, and I appreciated just how good Paladin sustain really is. Free heals, mana regen, and solid survivability. It all added up. When I reached the pinnacles, things went smoothly. The mobs were lower level, the quests stacked nicely, and I even ran into a rare I had never seen before. No amazing loot, but still fun. It kinda reminds me how much of this game lives in a small surprises. Eventually, we worked our way through the pinnacles, collecting all of the secret notes to this quest. And then eventually I faced Arikara, an elite but manageable. She hit like a wet noodle, poisoned me a bit, and then died. Paladin problems require Paladin solutions. From there, it was time to deal with the Grim Totem leader and run the escort. Escorts are always stressful because they love spawning mobs at the worst possible moment. I overleveled the content thankfully, because otherwise I would have been restarting that quest while questioning my life choices. The escort ended safely, the quests turned in, big XP rewards rolled in. I checked my bags and realized I had a lot to sell. way too much actually. I did notice that one new headpiece fit my look slightly better. Not much, just enough to feel less like a traveling circus wizard paladin hybrid. At that point I debated using my Heartstone, but the central leader was right in the middle of my path which I had to kill, so instead of being smart, I chose the violence. I charged in, killed him quickly, and grabbed the head of Khan Abind and moved on to show the proof that centaur tribes are no longer a threat to Torrens of Ruined Post. So I headed back for the big turn-ins, and then it happened. Level 32 finally. I straight up put a point to Sanctified Judgment because mana sustained mattered the most, and then the rewards started rolling in. A ring with stamina and strength, massive upgrade. Leggings with 12 stamina, goodbye crit, hello survivability. Wrist guards that traded stamina for damage, acceptable sacrifice. It felt good, real progress, just with a couple of quest turn-ins. Assault of the Jung trained better bandages, and laughed when I realized heavy silk bandages healed 760 instead of 500. That wasn't a small upgrade, that was life-changing. On top of that, the gold slowly climbed up, almost 1 full gold just from selling the bandages, which is not bad at all. I still desperately needed life root to push my alchemy further, but let's face it, Thousand Needles wasn't exactly known for wet herbal paradise vibes, so I accepted my fate and moved on. Our next journey took us to the Thunderbluff, where I did train new abilities. And we did get a Crusader Strike rank upgrade. This one was actually huge. My holy damage bonus jumped hard, and I felt it instantly. The damage was about to skyrocket. I also grabbed Blessing of Might for group utility and made a mental note to come back later for Wisdom on level 34. While being there, I also checked the auction house hoping for a miracle weapon, but no luck this time around as well. Everything was wildly overpriced. 15 gold here, 45 gold there, absolute madness I tell you. I walked away proud of my restraint and poor by choice. Then something unexpected happened. Someone actually invited me to Scarlet Monastery graveyard, but I was supposed to be a tank. I hesitated a bit as my one-handed weapon first was terrible, my tank gear was questionable, and to top it all off, I was the Retribution spec with only like 3 points in the parry talent. But the opportunity knocked. Therefore, I answered. I trained the missing weapon skill for a bit, slapped on Righteous Fury, and got summoned to the Terraceful Glades. From there on, there were some strange shenanigans happening in there, as half of the dungeon was empty. We thought it's a reset problem, but that didn't help either. We went straight to the end of the dungeon, and the very moment we crossed the entrance to the graveyard crypts, the mobs started to swarm us. I got my shield up ready for battle, and somehow it worked. Not perfectly, not smoothly, but it worked. Mobs hit hard, really hard. I wasn't specced for tanking, but between Seal of Lights, stuns, bandages, and sheer stubbornness, I held it together somehow. The group didn't rage, nobody left, we adapted. I was Retribution spec and Druid Healer was Balance, so we had to take it slow. Especially that after each bigger pull I had a couple of almost dead moments and Healer was instantly out of mana. But that was the beauty of Epoch, I guess. No instant quits, no blame games, just people figuring out because there weren't infinite other options. The goal mattered more than perfection. Eventually the boss went down, but had utter garbage loot, so we reset the dungeon properly and went again. This time, it clicked. I used Exorcism properly. Stream chat reminded me about the undead mechanics and that I can pull with it. Threat stabilized. Pulls became clean, as I also was more careful with my pulls and it didn't bring too many mobs at once. In the graveyard itself we did found 3 rares, so it was awesome. Iron Spide dropped nice one-handed weapon, but I didn't have any skill in maces. Either way, the rogue won the need roll, so there's that. Next up was the Scarlet Champion. I had my hopes up for the Morbid Down, a massive two-handed sword. But this run was better for cloth wearers as the cloth helmet dropped actually. But then it happened. Oh my god, finally! Oh yeah, nice. A rare two-handed axe dropped. And not from the bosses actually, but from the simple trash mobs. The two-handed weapon I had been hoping for. Well, not exactly this one, But upgrade is an upgrade, I guess. Finally, a real weapon. We finished the run, cleaned up loose ends, and I made my way toward Undercity on foot because my Hearthstone was still on cooldown. Not ideal, but I still had an old RFK quest to turn it in here. Along the way, I reflected on something important, because on a normal server, the group would have fallen apart at first wipe. People would have blamed specs, gear, damage meters, and each other. Here, we stay, we adapted, and we finished. That actually mattered, which is great. I turned in quests, banked materials, crafted some shadow oil with grave moss off of the auction house, and prepared for what came next. So I headed toward the Zeppelin Tower because there was no way around it. If I wanted to get back to 1000 Needles with my Hearthstone down, I had to put in the legwork. No shortcuts, no miracles. Although Zeppelin teleports on Epoch do save some time, the upside was that once I got back, my options would finally open up. Desolace, Stranglethorn Vale, Arathi Highlands. I really wanted to go to Arathi at some point, but to be honest, the low-level quests there were almost non-existent. Most of the work sat elsewhere. Therefore, Stranglethorn Vale would probably come first. Some early beast hunting, some trolls, the usual welcome committee. But most of these quests were higher level anyway, so for now, 1000 Needles it is. Since I was already there, I figured I might as well pick up the Alliance Relation quest that leads to the Desolace, but that's when I did something incredibly stupid. I walked straight into a hole right at the ledge of the Valley of the Winds. A designed to kill you hole that's almost invisible while running. There was no short way back up, so I had to leave the bay on foot, or by swimming, as always. They even added the Bay Beast underneath just to make sure that you didn't survive the fall. 24,000 health, same idea as the Sewer Beast in Stormwind or Slime Beast in Undercity. Pretty nice touch, Epoch. So there I was, swimming all the way back to shore, questioning my life choices. That's what happens when you don't pay attention. Simple as that. While passing by the Zepp Tower outside Orgrimmar, I noticed something strange. The Zeppelin Masters were gone. Goblin engineers had taken over. Planks blocking paths, signs said off limits. The war chief had ordered a new tower, apparently, and paid very well. Massive sign, go to Orgrimmar. Funny stuff, to be honest. If I hadn't fallen earlier, I might have missed all this. Silver lining, I guess. Eventually, I made it back to the Freewind post. I found a reagent vendor and stocked up on Earthroot, King's Blood, Wild Steelbloom, Scrolls of Strength, Stamina, Agility. Nothing exciting but very useful. Survival and more damage always matters. So it was time to finally go towards Shrimming Flats. Along the way, we turn in and get a follow-up to get rid of the insects in the area. And then I saw it. The Mirage Raceway, and it looked incredible. Increased field of view made everything feel alive. Goblin races everywhere, towers also everywhere. Parachutes, announcers shouting nonsense, ego-fueled goblin synergy. They had actually implemented racing, it seems. To get a driving license though, I had to lose some dignity first through one of the quests. I begged, I pleaded, literally, slash commands and all. Somehow it worked. I got approved for a racing license at level 32, which felt very late in life, but better late than never. Then it turned out that the race system is broken, or I'm just too stupid to figure it out. Queues didn't work. Cars didn't spawn, NPCs got stuck, goblins laughed endlessly in the background while nothing really happened. Maybe a server restart will fix it, as no person in here offered me a car to race. The queue didn't put me in the race mode either. Eventually, I just gave up and went back to questing, as I couldn't really do anything. There were quests tied to the new raceways as well, delivering sparkling water to the watchtowers, dealing with some ghost gazer riding the track. It all felt fresh. I finally applied my newly created shadow oil onto the brand new axe, and it was glowing like it was blessed by the gods themselves. The proc rate felt insane actually, shadow bolts flying everywhere, bleeds from the axe sticking, judgment of light healing me through the tougher fights. Grinding felt actually great. Sometimes it did still happen, too many misses, too many dodges. Crusader Strike missing hurt badly because when it didn't connect, my holy damage collapsed. Therefore I stuck to mobs 2 levels below me. That's how Classic always worked. Lower level mobs felt a lot easier to kill. The desert grind was real. Turtles, scorpids, basilisks, endless circles. But respawns were good and my mana barely moved thanks to Sanctified Judgment. Then I found a strange spot with skeletons scattered everywhere. Totems and total silence. Something really bad happened in here. probably connected to one of the new quests. But eventually I did hit level 33. A rare turtle I have found dropped some loot, Shell Shocker's shield. Not amazing, but better than my current one. Rare was a rare, and the spelling was kind of funny. Sanctified Judgment was now fully online. With 3 points in it, mana problems were basically gone. Every judgment paid for itself. The Paladin changes on Epoch felt incredible. Classic flavor, but modern flow. At one point, Shadow Oil did faded, and the sadness followed. Still, gold piled up. 2 gold from trash alone, which is not bad. The racing system was still broken, the goblin NPC was still stuck, and nothing happened. So I turned everything in, grabbed what XP I could, and headed back to Freewind Post for rested XP. There are still more levels to gain, more zones to see, and more mistakes to make. Preferably fewer holes next time. Adventures would come, just not today.